Gauteng province is the only region from South Africa represented at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile joined Team South Africa to shore up partnerships and investments from delegates at the WEF, specifically for economic growth and job creation in the province. Business editor Xolani Mbanjwa is there with him now. Xolani, good morning.
Good morning, Iman. Yes, indeed, it's the fifth and final day of the 2025 edition of the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. And of course, it's been such a cold front here, -6 this morning, but the mood is warm inside many of the conference rooms that South Africa has been moving in. And yes, I am joined by the MEC for Finance and Economic Development in the Gauteng province, MEC Lebogang Maile. MEC, thank you so much for your time. Many people are actually wondering that you are joining South Africa, Team South Africa, a big delegation. We have the biggest delegation here. And many people will be wondering, what is the province doing here? What are they going to gain from this gathering? Talk to us about that and how important to be here for the province.
Good morning and thanks for having us. As you correctly said, the South African delegation, which was led by the president, was here and it's still here. I think some of the ministers are still here. We decided for the first time as a province to join the World Economic Forum because we wanted to be part of this world stage and wanted to be part of the conversations, but to also understand what are some of the trends in the world and how are other people dealing with the challenges that they are facing, but to also broaden our networks and attract investors. And we are happy that we have been well received. We have had good conversations, and we will certainly be coming back next year and in the subsequent years because there is a lot of value for the country and for the province.
And many people are not aware that there was an investment conference that was specifically for Gauteng for many years. And Gauteng, when you look at over the past 30 years, its population due to migration has more than doubled. What does that mean for you as the leadership in that province?
Yes, it's true. I mean, in 1994, the Gauteng population was at about 7 million. We're now over 15 million. But also the Gauteng GDP at the 94 was around 700 billion. It's now just over 1 trillion. What it means is that every year there's about 230,000 people coming to Gauteng, and it puts a huge strain on our resources. As you will always see every year, learners not having enough classrooms because there's at least 50,000 of them coming to our province. And it has a ripple effect on many other areas, on health, on the infrastructure and all that. And that's why at all the times we're trying to move fast. We're trying to increase our resources rapidly so that we can be able to finance all these social needs that are growing every day. And of course, we will be having an investment conference now in April. And that investment conference, we want to raise, earlier on you were saying to me, we want to know what are our plans for the year. For the next 3 years, we're looking at raising at least 500 billion rand into the Gauteng economy in terms of investment. And we hope that at least half of that should be pledged in the coming investment conference now in April, because if we want to grow the economy, we have to bring in investors. And investors don't just come, because as we were talking to them here, they also have concerns, and they were raising concerns. So we have to deal with those concerns. So as we go back home, will also be continuing with the process of resolving those concerns, because we've already started. When the Premier gave the State of the Province address, for instance, he said specific things about fighting crime, for instance. We are putting a lot of resources there. We are using technology. We are reinforcing the police, more boots on the ground. We have brought more human resource and all that. We spoke about cleaning the inner cities and the whole of Gauteng and all that. So we said to the investors, yes, we will do many other things, but at least we should be able to excel in this too, cleaning and fighting crime. And once we can be able to deal with those, we should be able to attract more and more investors, and we should be able to lay a solid base for the building of the Gauteng economy.
Where are the opportunities? What did you tell investors here about Gauteng? If it were, of course, a country in Africa on its own, it would be the 7th biggest province. What did you tell them where are the opportunities are when it comes to the Gauteng province?
Well, firstly, the Gauteng economy is diverse. It has got the characteristics of first, second, and tertiary activities. And because it's diverse, it means anyone who wants to do business in any of the sectors can be there in Gauteng. But we want to focus on high growth sectors. We want to focus specifically on manufacturing to ensure that we bolster the productive capacity of the economy. If you look at township economy, for instance, which is big and it's estimated to be worth about 200 billion, it consumes and it does not produce. And we think that if we can bolster that productive capacity, it will be able to create jobs, it will be able to create more players who can be integrated into the mainstream, and it can also help us to transform and change the ownership patterns in the economy. So we are having special economic zones, which we told them about. We are expanding Gautrain. As you know it now, it will be expanded to the West Rand and to Sidibeng. And that's big because these two regions are in the periphery, and it's very difficult to move people and goods because the public transport is not as efficient. And we think that if we can succeed in doing this, it will go a long way. We will be investing in the improvement of our roads. You will know what is known as e-tolls, which was Gauteng Freeway Improvement Scheme. It was actually phase 1. There's still phase 2 and phase 3, because if we don't invest and improve our roads, they will be gridlocked in the next coming few years. It will be difficult to move people and goods. We will be continuing to work with the municipalities in investing on energy, in investing on water infrastructure. As you know, in most cases it has been aging and has been problems. So we will be coordinating with them on how to raise resources. I mean, as we speak in this financial year that ends end of March, we have about 12 billion rands for infrastructure, both social and economic infrastructure. And we're looking at increasing that money through many other efforts of fundraising. We are focusing on revenue generation in this term because we need to increase significantly our revenue so that we are able to respond to the social needs as they arise.
Ms. Lebogang Maile, thank you very much for your time heading the Department of Finance and Economic Development in the biggest province in the country by population and economic size. And of course, saying the two priorities that they have promised not only Gauteng residents but also investors here at the annual meetings is to deal with crime and grime in the inner city and the periphery of the Gauteng province. Something that has really interested people is seeing the Gauteng province, the only province that is here from South Africa, but of course not surprising because it is the biggest province by any measure when you compare it to all the others in South Africa. A lot of meetings are still taking place here on the last day. We will bring you more throughout the day. Back to you, Iman, in studio.